Good evening, Dhamma friends, in our PRC class. Welcome to day 89 and for Dhammapada stanza 67. So now we're going to be starting by respecting the Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa. We are still continuing the chapter on unwise people, and today we are going to look at another stanza with regard to unwise people from the perspective of karma, the Pali word karma, and how does unwise person take the process of karma, even knowing or without knowing. So let's take a look at the stanza. Dhammapada 67. Before I start discussing and then asking you to read, I wanted to say that this stanza is a very popular stanza in Dhamma talks, in especially among Sri Lankan monks, when they talk about karma to the general public. You know, you can talk karma from a very deep understanding, Patisota. You can talk about karma with regard to Nibbana, but this way, how we can see the verse with regard to a certain akusala karma and how that akusala karma looks for that particular person in the long run is very easy for the general public. That's why they are picking up this stanza with regard to akusala karma's result, and the next stanza 68, which we'll be studying perhaps after, not today. It's going to be the good side. How does good kusala karma take effect? How does it influence the person? Okay. Na tang kammang katang sadhu yang katva anutapati yas asu moko rodan vipakam patiseti. Na tang kammang katang sadhu yang katva anutapati yas asu moko rodan vipakam patiseti. Okay, so now we'll be asking from groups. First of all, I would like to ask from group 1. Is anyone willing to read this point? Please raise your virtual hand. Group 1. If not, we're going to ask from group 2. Yes, Kim, please go ahead.
Thank you, Bhante. Na tang taman katang sadhu, yang katwa anutapati, yasa asumuko rodang, vipakang pati sevati.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay. Group 3. Yes, Lisa.
Good evening, Bhante. Thank you.
Yes, good evening.
Natam kamam katam sadhu, yam katva anutapati, yasa asumuko rodam, vipakam patisavati.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Group 4. Yes, KB on.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Na tang kamang katang sadhu, yam katwa anutapati, yasa asu buko rodang, vipakang pati sewati.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And group 5. Group 5. Melinda, yes.
Thank you, Bhante. Na tam kamang katam sadu yam katwa anuta pati yasa asumuko rodam upakam pati sewati.
Vipaka, right?
Okay.
Vipaka.
Vipakam pati sewati.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
And group 6, TC. Maybe you can.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Natam kamang katam sadu. Yam katra anutapati. Yasa anutmo korodam.
Yes,
Vipakam
Asu.
asu. Asumuko rodam. Vipakang pati sewati.
Okay, great. And group 7. Yes, Aliana, please.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Na tam kamam katang sadu yang katwa anu tapati yasa asu muko rodang vipakam pati sewati.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And group 8. Yes, Lois, please.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Na tam kamang satam sadu yam katwa anuta pati yasa asumuko rodang vipakam pati sevati.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
We'll be asking from others if you want to read. Even if you could not read within the time of the groups, we'll be asking you to read. So first we start with Chupen. Yes.
Good evening, Bhante.
Yes, good evening.
Na tang kamang katang sadu yang katwa anu tapati yasa asu muko rodang vipakam pati sewati.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
And May.
Thank you, Bhante. Na tam kamang katam sadu yam katwa anutapati yasa asumuko rodam vipakam pati sewati.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And Oi.
Good evening, Bhante.
Yes, good evening.
Na tang kamang katang sadu yang katwa anu tapati yasa asumuko rodang vipakang pati sewati.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
And Siri.
Suki hotu, Bhante.
Sukihoto.
Na tang kamang katam sadu. Yang katwa anutapati. Yasa asumuko rodang. Vipakam pati sewati.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
And Susan.
Oh, thank you, Bhante. Natam kamam katam sadu yam katava anu tapati yasa asumuko rodam vipakam pati sevati.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Pochuwa.
Good evening. Thank you,
Yes.
Bhante.
Good evening. Yes.
Yeah. Na tam kamang katam sadu yang katwa atutapati yasa asumuko rodang vipakam patisewati.
Great.
Thank you,
And
Bhante.
Billing. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Let me see. Na tang kamang katang sadu. Yang katwa anuta pati. Yasa asu muko rodang. Vipakang pati sewati.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And Chompakla. Yes.
Good evening, Bhante.
Yes, good evening.
Natam kamam katam sadu. Yam katwa anutapati. Yasa asumuko rodam. Vipakam pati sewati.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Jenny. Jenny, I cannot hear you. Is it working? You want to?
Ne tang kamang katang sadu.
Yes. Yes.
Yam katwa anu tapeti. Yasa asu muko rodang. Vipakam pati sewati.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Next, we have Issa. Issa joining for the first time. She's here in the Philippines. Yeah, just go ahead.
Thank you, Bhante, and good evening,
Yes.
everyone.
Good evening.
Natang kamang katang sadhu, yang katwa anutapati, yasa asumukho rodam, vipakam patisevati.
Okay, great. And same form, please.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Yeah. Ne tam kamam katam satu. Yam tatwa anu tapati. Yasa asu muko rodam. Vipakam pati sevati.
Okay, great. And Margaret.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Natam kamam katam sadu. Yam katwa anuta pati. Yasa asu muko rodam. Vipakam pati sevati.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you, Bhante.
And Meli.
Good evening, Bhante.
Yes, good evening.
Ne tang kamang katang sadu yang katwa anuta pati yasa asumuko rodang vipakang pati sevati.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
And Pauline, yes, let's go ahead.
Sukyoto, Bhante.
It's okay, Hotu.
Natang kamang katang sadu yang katwa anuta pati. Yasa asu muko rodam vipakang pati sevati.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
And anybody else who would like to read? All right. So at this point, we are going to look at the English translation, literal meaning, and then the contextual meaning, and what we can learn from the stanza and its story. Na tang kamang katang sadhu. So we understand karma. Karma is action. Sadhu means, I think you understand sadhu very much. Well done. Well done means, when you say well done, it can be any well done, right? What kind of well done is this? This is something about a kusala kind of well done. When someone does an akusala karma, someone say well done. So it's more towards kusala achievements, kusala kind of achievements. That's why you say sadhu, 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 being able to respect the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, being able to witness a kusala progress, maybe moral kusala activity. So that particular karma is well done. What particular karma? But here you understand, not that particular karma well done, because as na means no. That karma is not well done. So we have to take action in the context of volitional action, as an implied sense. Karma in Buddhism means volitional action. So that particular karma that was done through akusala intentions, volitions, is not well done. And then we can see the consequence of that akusala karma in the form of consequence. Young Katwa, having done that particular karma, which is connecting to the first line, Anutappati. Tappati means go through pain. We understand the tap, heat, right? Tap. Or maybe you may have seen tapo. 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 Tapo means menace. Menace means austere activity someone does in the forest, maybe I would say your precepts, it's something where you try to minimize akusala activity. So it's something that you have to work on, right? So tapa means hate. At the same time, it means menace or maybe ethical activities. So having done a particular karma, if someone is going to go through regret, remorse, anutapati, that karma is not a well done karma. Is this part? Yang katva anutapati natang kamma katangsa. Having done a particular karma, which is an akusala karma, if someone is going to regret, that means it's not well done. Now you might think about the other side. Someone may have done a bad karma but still happy. Right? They can be still happy. So then how to understand them? It's a small extension. Now the stanza says, the person understands that this is a bad karma. At the moment, that person goes through pain, mental, emotional pain, or maybe physical pain one day, here or after. So it's kind of a self-observation regard to karma. So how does someone understand that I done a bad karma? Through the pain that person go through. Mental, physical, emotional pain in this life or the lives to come. And then the next two parts. Yassa asu mukho roda vipakam patisevati. Not even that, not even the observation of that I have done a bad karma. There are certain other things are happening. There's something that we can see with regard to this life. So the benefits, maybe I would say drawbacks of that akusala karma to this life. Yassa asu mukho roda. Asu mukho. So the person who has done that particular akusala karma or bad karma is with asu mukho roda. Asu mukho, tear-stained face. Mukha, Pali word mukha means face, right? Asu mukha. In early Buddhism, we don't find mukha is a sense faculty. What is a sense faculty with regard to mukha? Tongue. Mukha is not mukha means face. Face is not a sense faculty, but the tongue. So here it says, there is another way to look at it. I mean, how to feel one's own akusala karma is that one seems to be tear stained with the face, and at the same time, rodang, crying. So the person can feel that I haven't done a good karma through one's own tear-stained face and crying. What could be the stage this will happen? Normally after the regret part, right? Asumuko Roda. And then because this kind of situation will happen to someone as that person experiences patisevati vipaka, its consequence. Sometimes our akusala activities are not coming from the particular akusala activities we have done in this life, in the past life. They are our unwise decisions we made in this life. Just like in the case of this farmer in the story. So you can do your own self-reflection, looking at your own activities, your thoughts, your speeches, and your acts. And looking at those two aspects, then you can think about, can I be really happy when I look at my own acts, when I look at my speech, when I look at my own thoughts? If I cannot be happy, then these consequences will follow you. That means you will regret, and you will be full of what you call tear-stained face, and then you will perhaps be crying because you can't hold it all the way, because that's what you may have done. And then finally, you may go through even a bigger consequence in your life. So, what do you think about this stanza? This is mostly about karma. The concept of karma is the main one. But the karma concept has been given in a way for us to understand how to be mindful with regard to our daily activities. Now you can see in the story, I put it like, sometimes even the good intentions can go wrong, right? And then thereby you may go through pain as well. You do a good thing, but out of nothing, I mean, something bad can also happen to you, because maybe you were in the wrong place. Maybe you were talking to someone at the wrong time. Maybe you were with a certain bad person. It's not your problem. But it is the problem of you not managing those situations properly. So we have to manage the situations properly. I always say that just because you know what is good and bad, it is not enough. Why? We need a platform we need a space to act on those things. Think about, you know good and bad, but you are always with unwise people. So how to practice Dharma? You are always surrounded with unwise people. But you know unwise people and wise people. There is a difference between those two people. And then say, for instance, you are always talking about good speech. You know what is good speech, not to lie, not to use divisive words, not to use unpleasant words, not to gossip. But you are not creating a space for you to engage in wholesome speech. So you will never be able to make it happen. So just like we understand the Dharma theoretically, we also need to create a space, a kusala platform for us to engage in those activities. Otherwise, it is very difficult for us to practice Dhamma. So karma is number one. And then being able to understand what karma should we engage. Before that, let me talk to you about karma concept. Now, how did karma concept come into existence? Is it purely a Buddhist concept? The Pali word, Sanskrit word K-A-R-M-A. It's not a Buddhist concept. It is a Hindu concept. Sanskrit language gives us the meaning. When you look at the Hindu philosophy, you will understand that karma was used during the Vedas and Brahmana time in a way that people have to go to a certain priest and then ask the priest, can you invoke blessings for us? So they may have to give certain gift to the priest to offer to the god. So the more they engage in such rituals, the more good karma are being created by that particular person. So it is most likely a animal sacrifice. Some other sacrifices were taken as karma in early Hinduism. And then now time is evolving. Veda, Brahmana, then Aranyaka Upanishad time. This is the time the Hindu people, I'm talking more than 1,500 years before the Buddha time. Okay, roughly it's about 5,000 years. So there was a shift. So Veda Brahmana time was not accepted by some people by that time. So these people are called people during the Aranyaka Upanishad time. They started saying God cannot do anything. It's us. We have to go to the forest, do meditation, and find out our own renunciation. Just like how you see in the Jataka stories, how Bodhisattva left house for certain practices. That time, karma was a different thing. That time, karma was believing that there is a soul, there's an immortal soul that exists in the body. That was the Upanishad teachers talk about. And then what happened, now time is going further. Then the Hinduism's main book, what you call by Bhagavad Gita, this is the main book, the codex like Dhammapada to us. In that book, karma was described as the Swadharma. That means at that time in India, the caste system was very much strong. Everyone is born out of a certain caste, Brahmana caste, Kshatriya caste, Vaishya caste, and then Shudra caste. And then some other people were called untouchable. Even you can't touch them. Untouchable. Bamboo weavers, hunters, right? So then the karma during that time, the Bhagavad Gita's time, which means the most famous Hindu time, was that if you do your duty in your particular caste, then you are creating good karma. Let's say you are a Brahmin, you have to advise the kings. If you are a Kshatriya, you have to rule the country. You may have to kill the enemies. If you are a Vaishya, you must engage in trade, business, and those activities. That means especially skill labor jobs. And if you are a Shudra, you have to work towards all the previous castes, Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya. And then if you are untouchable, that means if you are born into a family who were doing that kind of a job, then you have no privileges in India. So Bhagavad Gita, the book says your karma is that to engage in your caste that way that you were born into. Now, then what happened in Buddhism? So the Buddha took this concept called karma in a way that he actually borrowed the concept from India, Hinduism. And then he reinterpreted that karma means a volitional action. That means all activities, all actions are not carrying karma. Only volitional activities are making karma. Volition means chetana. Only chetana-based activities are karma. But keep in mind, this can be a very tricky thing. It's only observed by you. People can fake, people can lie. Because when they do a certain bad activity, they might say, I didn't do with intention. That was not what I meant, right? So it's a very tricky thing. That's why in Buddhism, what we understand is Buddhist karma is not a free pass to attack other people. You need lots of honesty, lots of humility to practice karma, right? Say, for instance, you go and offer a dana to Sangha members. So how to engage in that dana with a lot of, in the proper way, in the proper karma perspective. You have to be very honest to your own thoughts, right? Those thoughts are better to be out of Dobha Dosa Moha as much as you can. So karma concept in Buddhism is something that is more towards volitional actions, right? So now here in the stanza, we understand that there is a person who has consciously, volitionally involved in an akusala activity, now feels the remorse. Now this part also has to be discussed. What do you think about the remorse? Is remorse important for us to become better people? Think about someone does a bad thing and then later on understands what I have done. And then can that be a motivation for that person not to engage in future akusala activities? It can be. But Buddhism understands that remorse, what's the Pali word for this? Another Pali word? It's a nivarana. We call it kukucha. Kukucha is the formal word. So kukucha initially seems to be not a that kind of strong hindrance. But if someone is too much into kukucha, definitely it is a nivarana. Why? Now there are two people. One person having done a akusala karma, maybe out of no understanding, having akusala karma, is going to think that I done akusala karma, so I know the pain. I know it's not good. I have to become a better person. It's a good thing. At least this person is going to be better. But there is somebody else who is having done a akusala karma, going to be very going to be self-hating oneself, self-hating, right? Self-hate comes from kukucha. That means I should have not done it. What if, these kind of thoughts. And then it's good, but to the point that you don't try to do it again. But what if someone is always thinking, I did the bad thing, I'm a bad person, I was a wrong person, right? So giving lots of hatred towards one is not a good idea, because kukucha comes with dosa, right? So here in this case, this particular person seems to be someone who has no ability to get rid of this remorse. That remorse is going to take him or her over. And not even that. You can see over here, yassa asumukho. Yassa asumukho rodan means it also involves what you call sadness. Do we find any Buddhist stories where someone was very sad about one's own akusala and then was able to embrace the true Buddhist teachings and was able to become changed? There are many stories as such, right? If you see some noble people and or the other people, because being able to understand what one has done is a step in becoming a better person. But while understanding that particular thing and not being able to manage that remorse. Now, what is happening to us is, if you do an akusala karma, and if you dwell too much time in that akusala karma, in that guilty feeling, that's another word, guilty pleasures, guilty pleasures, right? If you engage too much in that particular state of mind, you will automatically create certain remorseful thoughts. So that's why the Buddhism says being remorseful is not a akusala karma in the first place, but if you spend too much time in that, then you are creating dosa. You don't know where you are heading after that. But in this case, this person is really remorseful, and then it looks like the person is not able to find out how to find the way out of that situation. And then sadness and all that coming, vipakang patisevati. Vipakang. Vipakang means the result of karma. Normally we understand in Pali, karma. Karma is volitional action, and it leads to vipaka. Vipaka, right? Karma and vipaka. So the result of any karma is called vipaka. Karma creates. Normally people don't use it that to say karma and karma, right? That's what they say. I don't have good karma. Actually, you should have said, I don't have vipaka, good vipaka. I done the same thing with somebody, it's done the same karma, but I don't have good vipaka. But what people say, I don't have karma. So karma plus karma leads to karma. So literally speaking, concept-wise speaking, that's not a good way to say it. But cultural-wise, people take karma as karma. But normally karma is the cause. Result is not the karma. Result is vipaka. Right? So anyways, now when you look at the stanza, you understand that it is not a good idea to engage in akusala activities, definitely, and we know that. But the problem here is that it's not about the vipakas themselves. It's about the pain and the remorse and multiple other akusala activities that are happening. Now think about when you do an akusala karma, let's say you have the result, consequence, but in between, there are emotional challenges happening, there are mental challenges happening, And so many negativities are coming up as a result of that particular akusala act. It's not just that you are going to experience a very big vipaka, akusala vipaka. So this is another reminder for us to minimize, get rid of all akusalas as much as possible. And all right, I think we discussed almost all words and also kind of bigger concepts. And also I wanted to add, because this is a very broad concept, in Buddhism, karma is not what do you call karma and vipaka. Karma might be the same thing. The vipakas are not happening in the same way for two people. Let's say now you all are listening to this discussion, OPRC class. You think that you all are creating the same good vipaka? According to the karma concept, it's not. Now don't be scared. You are creating a vipaka, but it's different from one to one, right? It's not even the physical activity that you are engaging with that affects vipaka, but also how much kusala thoughts that you are able to create on top of this listening also matters. So the intensity, proliferation, non-proliferation, and then what do you call being able to increase more kusala thoughts. So there are a lot of things that are affecting for the vipaka. It's not just that you all sit down and you all think that we are going to have the same vipaka. It's not what we see. That's why the Buddha says in the Mahakamma Vibhanga Sutta, which is after Chulakamma Sutta, that karma is not linear. So karma's result, vipakas are not linear. So it could be different from one to one. So what can we do for karma? That's the most important thing. Let me tell you. What can we do? Because we can discuss this karma concept so extensively. But as lay people, what can you do? What can you do is you can be mindful. You can be mindful for each action that you are engaging in. To engage in any action, that could be an act, that could be a speech, that could be a thought, by reducing as much lobha dosa moha as you can. So then you are on the safe side. You are in the hands of Buddhism at that point. Otherwise, you are in the hands of somebody. You don't know who that is. So if you can lower and minimize as much lobha dosa moha as you can, that would be the easiest way to handle this karma thing. That's why the Buddha said, don't learn karma too much. You can become a mentally sick person. Of course, nobody wants to be mentally sick. They want to be mentally very healthy. The Buddha said, don't learn too much about the Buddha. Don't learn too much about karma. Don't learn too much about chitta, mind. Because you can be mentally sick. I think you want to learn to become mentally healthy, and finally you end up with that kind of, according to Buddha. So that's why it's always the middle path. Majjhima Patipada is our happiness. It's not that good things are our happiness. Finding out good things, choosing the good things, and then Majjhima Patipada. Middle path, Noble Eightfold Path. Otherwise, if you are engaging too much in the good things also, can be leading to certain unnecessary edges in your spiritual path. That's why in some of the suttas, Buddha asks us to do something very important. What is it? In a sutta, in couple of suttas, Buddha saying, you need to measure your Dhamma practice. Has anybody measured your Dhamma practice? Find the measuring tape and check how wide is that? How many centimeters, how many inches? Can we measure our spiritual journey? How far we have come, how far we have to go, How good are we now? Because we've been now, it's almost the 89 days have been devoted for this OPRC already since 2023. Where are we now? Where am I at? Where are you at? Then we have to measure. The Buddha said a way to measure our Dhamma practice. The Buddha said there are three things. One is someone who is declining in his or her practice. Declining. A practice that is declining. Someone's practice. This is something to learn. Second is there is a practice that is stagnating. And the third one is there's a practice that is growing. We have to be at that point. So the first is that there is a practice that is in decline. That means you are learning a lot of things in your Dhamma journey, but you are not developing yourself, growing yourself in your real life. I'm not talking your theoretical artificial life, your real life. Real life is what you know, actually, for the most part. Your real life is not growing. You're still the same gossiper. You're still the same bad person who's talking bad words. You're still the same person who is throwing tantrums at other people. You're still lying a lot. You're still having a lot of abhijja, vyapada, and all these kusala. You still have the problem. You have not been able to overcome it. But you have been learning 1,000 Dhamma talks about this issue. From many monks and Dhamma speakers, from internet, even from many places. You feel like you have not been able to overcome it, at least to a certain extent. And also, your existing good qualities are also dwindling. They are also dwindling. They are also declining. Like last year, I was not gossiping, but this year you started gossiping. You got a good gossiper buddy, And now you are dwindling and declining. Something wrong with us, right? Last year, let's say someone had a lot of compassion towards people who are going through suffering. No food, nothing, no basic access to basic needs, and being able to understand other people's stories. But this year, since 2025, when you hear that kind of thing, just forget about those. Enough of these. I have compassion fatigue. See, then you come to a certain fatigue, compassion fatigue. Why don't you do metta? I have metta fatigue, mudita fatigue, and upekka fatigue. So what good thing are you having? It looks like you messed up in the Brahma Vihara at that point. Something wrong with you. So that's why we can understand the first measurement here, a practice that is decline. If you are one of them, it's very serious thing. You have to give serious concern about it. But the interesting thing is that you still learn. You still learn Saddha, Sila, Tyaga, Panya, Patibana. You are continuously on the learning side. I'm not talking about the learning side. You are learning, you are participating, going, but your inner work is not growing. And also you are even, on top of that, you are even declining in that practice compared to last year, last month, last week. This is called a practice that is declining. Not a good idea. Second measurement is that, as I said, a practice that is stagnated, or maybe already kind of get stuck somewhere in the practice. What is this? The Buddha said that there is someone who has the qualities like Saddha, Sila, Chaga, Panya, Patibana. These are not improving, not going down. You are the same person like in 2020, 5 years ago. Even at that time, you said 1 life per month, but this, even 2025, so you say 1 life per month. Maybe compared to 2020, after 5 years, you are the same person. Spiritually, I'm not talking physically. If you can be the same person, how nice, huh? Compared to 2020, 5 years ago. Spiritually speaking, your qualities are same. I mean, you haven't go on a step further. So you are not growing, you are not going down. You are, to the Buddha, you are stagnated. You are stuck in your practice. Ideally speaking, the Buddha said, if you had some amount of metta at that point, 2020 in this case, then by 2025, you must have done a lot of inner work by this time. I mean, feel good, compared to 2020. And let's say 3 years ago, you had less empathy towards other people. But after learning some amount of Dharma, and you understand, I had to put myself in their shoes as well, because it's not only me. The more I understand other people and situations, the more I'm able to grow in my Dhamma practice. I can have the right attitudes towards them, samadhi towards them, or I can support in my own way. Maybe I can create my Kalyanamitta clusters, Kalyanamitta, those clusters in my temple or wherever. That means you are growing. But what if that you were not really listening to those situations, those stories? You might be thinking that it was a wasted time of me. But now you are still the same person. That means, but you may have your own compassion, but you haven't changed yourself a little bit, at least. So this practice is not dwindling or declining, not growing. It's called a stagnated practice. It's a little bit better than the decline one, first one, but that's not the ideal practice. That's not a good way to grow. And the third measurement to do in terms of your own practice is that you have a practice that you see that you have been able to change yourself. At the same time, you feel you are growing every day, right? You can't grow you can't grow in one night. Don't expect changes in your spiritual life in one night. Those are the people who want to become Sotapannas tomorrow, and then you get stuck finally. Don't go in that rush journey. The Buddha says a very convenient, comfortable, gradual journey. Anupubba Kiriya, Anupubba Patipada, Anupubba Sikha. Where did the Buddha say? Kitagiri Sutta. What's the number of that sutta? You can read later. Kitagiri. Kitagiri Sutta is Majjhima Nikaya's 70. So, in this sutta, you will understand how did the Buddha teach us to go on our Dhamma journey gradually. Don't try to jump. You can't bypass spiritual journey unless you have been very much fortunate enough in your, life, sansaric life too. So the Buddha said it's like the ocean. The Buddha is using the simile ocean in this sutta. You don't see the depth of the ocean right near the shore, beach shore. The more you go inside, then you will see the depth of the ocean. At the same time, the Buddha said, if you throw something rubbish to the ocean, and the ocean water will take them back to the shore. If the bad people get into the Buddha Sasana, ocean itself, the Buddha Sasana itself, throw them back out of the Buddha Sasana. Very interesting sutta, Kitagiri Sutta. This sutta clearly says the gradual path. Don't try to rush in the Dhamma journey. Take your time. When you take your time, you are growing in a fluid way, in a nice, smooth way, right? Because you have to do a lot of inner work. Your actions, your speech, your thoughts, how many things you have to take care of. So the Buddha said, if your practice has been, because of your practice, your life has been transforming at the same time, that if that transformation is not stopped, every day being transformed, changing, growing for the better sake, that is the way how you're going to really make yourself into. So then try to do this test. What is the test? Growth test. Whether your Dhamma journey is growing or not. You are declining or stagnated or growing. The Buddha said we have to do it. Right? So the reason why I said this is that, as I said earlier, we are going to be giving a lot of mindfulness. Now, someone might say, how to be mindful? Sometime I want to be spoiled a little bit. How to be mindful at that point? The Buddha said something very interesting. What did the Buddha say? You have to find out a couple of suttas to find this idea. See, it's very difficult to be mindful when I see my own people, right? It's like there's a Sanskrit story, it's a mythical story that some fox, some jackals, fox, found out one fox actually stuck into a certain blue-colored painting basket. Then he was able to manage to get out of that blue basket. It had paint. So all the other animals were really scared of him. Who is this person? Said, I am the king now. Right? I am the king in this forest. Then even the lion respected, it's a mythical story, but the idea is important. Even the lion respected this fox. Finally, one day, a group of fox came to see the king. They didn't know this is another fox. And when he saw the other foxes, he started, making their own sound. Sometimes you are good, but when you see the other buddies, you're gonna be changed. That's the idea. Don't become that blue-colored painted fox, because we can think about. Because if we know the path, we can just go with other people or without other people. So that's why the Buddha said, even this mindfulness can be easily done in another practice. Today, I think this will be a very important advice to you. If you learn about metta practice, loving kindness, or unlimited friendliness, from Metta Sutta and many other suttas, you may have learned a lot of things. But have you checked a sutta called Mettani Sansa Sutta, which comes in Anguttara Nikaya's 11th canto, 11th section, where the Buddha says that there are 11 benefits of metta. One of them is, when you practice metta, you can concentrate faster. Now, what is the problem with regard to our mindfulness? Concentration problem, right? Because when you meditate, the first thing that is something that you might be struggling could be concentration. So the Buddha said, metta is the best practice for you to have the concentration. Otherwise, you might jump into anapanasati right away. Oh, I'm going to watch my own thoughts. But if you have some metta, it's easy for you to go to mindfulness. Is there a very practical reason? Yes. The Buddha said, when you act with metta. When you talk with metta. When you think with metta. So what more then? When you talk to someone with metta, can you say bad things to that person? Is it possible to say bad things? What if you have no metta? You are trying to be mindful. Okay, I should not say this thing. I should not say. Finally, you are saying that to that person at the end. Because you have no other support. You are trying to push yourself. I'm not going to say, okay, now you have made me to the point. I'm going to be very crazy about you. I'm going to say this bad. Why? No metta. So that's why metta is the supportive practice for mindfulness. Whatever other anapanasati, iriyapata, for all the other practices. Not even that. When you have metta, you will die one day peacefully. It's not the death that you are having in the bed one day. If you have that death, other people think that if somebody dies early morning in the deathbed, something, that's a peaceful death. But in Buddhism, it's not something that we take that way. The Buddha said, if you practice metta, you will die mindfully, right? That mindful death means that you know you are dying, but you have the proper attitude towards death. First,
Is the video paused?
Yes.
I think Bante's PC hang.
Bhante, you're muted.
yeah. So Buddha asks us not to die out of spiritual death. Spiritual death is not being able to engage in the proper Dhamma activities, kusala activities, and dying out of negligence. Okay, so the reason why I mention all that is that what kind of karma is the Buddha talking? That is the karma that you are engaging in.
Then aku sadar.
Okay, so apologize for the time, the internet issue. So this story is about a farmer. So what was going on with the farm? So one day there was a farmer who was farming early in the morning, tilling, cultivating the land. At that point, he was trying to do it early morning because he understood that he may not be able to do if it is so sunny. So during this time, there was a group of thieves having stolen certain things from a house. They were on the way. out of the thieves, one thief, he stole some other stuff without showing to other thieves, and then they were
Hang again.
the royal enforcement people, and they were able to find out this thing. But before this thing happened, the Buddha and Venerable Ananda was going by this area, and the Buddha was trying to help this particular farmer, because in the morning he saw that he will be caught by the royal law enforcement people. So I want to go and help this particular farmer. That's why he went with Venerable Ananda. And then he used a certain phrase when he was going nearby. He used a word called, Ananda, did you see the poisonous snake? And Venerable Ananda could not understand that right away. And then what happened? He also said, yes, Bhante, I saw the poisonous snake. And then we will go take a look. And then what happened? In a moment of time, the royal law enforcement people came in, and then they thought this might be the person who stole all these things, and they were able to find out things. And they took him to the king, and then the king asked them to give the death sentence. At that point, during the moment that he was going to go through the death sentence, he was trying to repeat what he overheard from the Buddha and Venerable Ananda. Ananda, did you see the poisonous snake? He said, yes, Bhante, I saw the poisonous snake. Ananda, did you see the poisonous snake? Yes, Bhante, I saw the poisonous snake. Ananda, did you see the poisonous snake? So the people who were bringing him to the death sentence, they informed the king, yeah, king, this man is talking something about the Buddha and Venerable Ananda. So maybe we go ask from the Buddha, maybe he might have seen something. And then when they went to see the Buddha, Venerable Ananda, and the Buddha said that we saw it, and I wanted to help this man. Otherwise, he would have had no proof to save from this issue. So see, the Buddha wanted to go and support this man. But what was the problem? When the particular purse, which had some money, fallen into the ground, this farmer covered it with some other soil. That was why these law enforcement people understood this might be the thief. So that was something unnecessary. So that means we don't need to create some unnecessary situations. Especially this farmer, this farmer did something that is not necessary. That's why the Buddha said, having done a certain unnecessary activity, don't try to regret about it. So this was the story. But what happened at the end, farmer was able to understand his own mistake, and he truly admitted, I should have not covered that particular purse with soil. If it was dropped just on the soil, they might not have done anything to him, because they also saw his footmarks to the area where he covered that particular purse with the soil. Okay, this is the story. Now we will go and take a look at the notes. The Buddha's compassionate foresight. Now we normally call it as what we call Maha Karuna. Let's talk about this Maha Karuna. The Buddha each morning would look out on the world with his compassionate eyes and see people who were in a situation conducive to a karmic revolution. That day, he saw a farmer whose life was going to be caught in a maze of confusion and pain. The Buddha's foresight was not simply passive seeing, it was compassionate action, an attempt to create the conditions in which beings would receive timely direction. Now, I think in one of our classes long time ago, I shared with you, it was also one of the Dhammapada stories, that Buddha used to see who he can help 2 times a day. One time was the early morning. So he's trying to see who am I going to help out today out of his great compassion, Mahakaruna. Second, in the evening, before he starts his Dhamma talk and everything, this evening, how can I help someone who is going to go through lots of issues? Now think about in the morning, in this particular early morning, so he went there early. That means Buddha is not just someone who kept giving Dhamma talks. He was very much socially engaged person. He wanted to clarify some unnecessary suspicious moments. If he had not gone there, definitely that farmer would have been killed by the king. So he thought, today, I think I need to go there and help this particular farm. I know he can be a Sotapanna as well. So he went there. So we have so much stories about Buddha's great compassion. So what can we learn out of this Buddha's great compassion? Can we have great compassion? Why can't we have the great compassion? There are a couple of problems. One is we don't have that capacity to understand other people's problems. Even there are so many people. So the biggest problem we could have is that the Buddha's understanding about what other people are going through and what can he do. Now in our case, if we even cannot help other people, at least if we can understand as an empathy, they are going through a certain problem. Let's not talk about gossip about that person. Let's not talk about unnecessary things. Let's try to understand what's going on. Right? At least if we have that thought, then we can at least do something like the Buddha, not in the same way how he did, but at least in our own way. Mahakaruna. So because of the Buddha's Mahakaruna, this farmer was able to be benefited. So it's such an important thing. The metaphor of the poisonous snake. It wasn't random when the Buddha described the lost purse as a poisonous snake, but an extremely potent metaphor. But as the snake is beautiful and yet full of death, so ill-gotten money is a lure for the eyes and leaves us out. This symbolism is a profound instruction in Buddhist ethics. Whatever profit one makes through unethical means is never a genuine profit. That's interesting. Why is it very, why is it a matter in Buddhism to own unethical money? Now here it was the same. The farmer should have not covered that purse with some other soil. He was thinking, the Buddha said poisonous snake, but I go there. That is not his purse. So he started thinking, maybe I will open it later. But at the moment I will cover it. Right? So the Buddha said, this is a poisonous snake. That means other people's money, other people things are poisonous things for us. That's what the metaphor over here. So this helps us to stay away from adinna dana. Second precept. out of the 5 precepts. So that's something we learn out of this story as well. Third is misinterpretation of the Dhamma. Why do we say misinterpretation? The farmer didn't understand the meaning of what Buddha said, right? He had no idea about the poisonous snake. Or he only understood when he went to see the Buddha at the end. What he understood was poisonous snake. Ananda, did you see the poisonous snake? Yes, I did see the poisonous snake. Ananda, did you see the poisonous snake? I saw the poisonous snake. It's like some people Dhamma learning. They never understand what is in that Pali word. What does he talk about? Right? Only merely learning this and that. So you shouldn't be that farmer, right? Farmer at least had to see the opportunity to see the Buddha. We have nowhere to see at that point, right? So why we are not able to understand sometimes this precious meaning, because we don't make an effort to check the meaning, know the meaning. If I don't know, maybe ask from the proper person, and then make it to a point that I can grow myself in my Dhamma journey. Not that people don't know. Now think about 5 precepts. Who doesn't know 5 precepts? Tell me. Not killing, not stealing, and all that. Who doesn't know? But do they know the actual way of practice?
Hang again.
It might be a reading, it might be consulting, it might be.
Sorry, Bhante. Bhante, you have hanged many times. We actually miss a lot of your sharing and teachings. So we just get bits and pieces.
Yeah, the
But
whole
I'm
story
sure.
have to be repeated. Have to repeat again. We don't know we cannot really catch the story completely.
Yeah, how is it now? Is it better now?
Yes.
Yes,
It's better.
Bhante. Yes.
So what was the last part you heard properly?
Can you just repeat the story after that farmer keep on saying about the
Did you see
snake
the
is
poisonous
there's
snake?
a snake. That's all. That part
First
onward
of
we
all, I
cannot
want to
get.
say, I think today here we have an internet problem. Perhaps that's why.
I
Not
think
that
so,
one.
yes.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
So what happened? What happened after? I think you heard that how the Buddha supported him, right? Then he was taken to the Buddha king and all them, and then the Buddha said, "I went there, and I saw what happened, and I said this thing. Did you see this poisonous snake?" And I asked from Venerable Anand, then he also said, I saw it. And I'm the one who said that I wanted to save this farmer, right? So that's what we understand from the story. Now we are reviewing the story's perspective, the philosophy part. So in that we said as number 1, great compassion. So this story says that how did the Buddha want to go out of the temple and support someone who was going to be killed by the king, and he wanted to go and support that person. So we are learning from the Buddha that compassion must be happening in our own way. We might not be doing just like how the Buddha did it. So that is number 1. And number 2 is we were talking about the metaphor of poisonous snake. Now it's about what you call unethical money. Unethical money is similar to a poisonous snake. So we don't need to touch. That means the farmer, would have saved himself if he did not cover that purse with soil. But he did not. he actually covered. He was curious about what was inside the purse. So that in the same way, when it comes to unethical money, we need to be very careful. Unethical things, unethical businesses, number 2. Number 3 is misinterpretation of Dhamma. Now, for the farmer, this phrase that he heard from Buddha and Venerable Ananda was something that was not clear to him. That's why he didn't catch about the poisonous thing. So finally, when he was caught by the king and when he was going to die, he started thinking, now what should I say? Maybe I'm going to say that particular phrase that he overheard from that conversation. So in the same way, I was trying to tell you, relate this to yourself. You may be perhaps knowing a lot of Dhamma theoretically, right? So maybe you don't know the proper meaning of them. Like I took the 5 precepts, right? The second precept was exactly what this farmer was going through. So how do I break my first precept? How do I break my second precept? How do I sexually misbehave? How do I lie? You know the theoretical perspective, but perhaps you may not know about the true meaning of those things. Even other teachings too, meditation, chanting, some other kusala activities, transference of good karma, right? So it's better to clarify. Otherwise, you might be misinterpreting in your own. Okay, that was where we left out. Now we are ready to go to the next level. Hopefully, we don't have any internet problem. Okay. Then 4th one, greed and confusion intertwined. The farmer, despite not being a thief, had to deal with mixed feeling, desire, disbelief, doubt, and the temptation of the valuable purse instead of telling or asking anyone. Now, the story also says when the Buddha said, Ananda, did you see the snake? Then he was thinking, oh, the Buddha is never lying. Definitely a poisonous snake is in my place. I'm coming here morning and evening. Now this animal will kill me, bite me anytime during the day. So I'm going to kill him. That's why he was going to get ready to go there. Then he didn't see anything. He saw a purse. And then he got some greed about it. And he covered that place. So this means that there was desire, there was greed, there was confusion. Actually, when we are very greedy, we have no clarity about what's happening. Greed will remove our clarity. The moment we are greedy, no clarity. What clarity is in greed? It will further bring us to confusion. So we are learning that thing from this farm, greed and confusion, moha. Karma beyond direct action. In this story, we can quite see clearly that karma is not only a matter of premeditated evil acts. I want to highlight this. Even opportunities not taken or confused actions, for instance, hiding something that doesn't belong to you, can result in karmic consequence. Although the farmer's burying of the purse itself was not theft, it still is an ethically problematic action to the extent that it involves hiding, which in turn results to non-cooperation, reluctance to take responsibility. Can we think about another teaching about this? If you learn Mangala Sutta, do we see something related to confused actions? Have you ever found out something about this from Mangala Sutta? How does Mangala Sutta explain about confused actions? Are there confused actions that the Buddha talks? Let's go and take a look.
Blameless action.
Blameless
Anavajani.
action. Blameless action. Okay.
Anavajani kamani.
Okay, let's go and take a look. Mangala Sutta. We will see from here. So you may be able to check that later. So this is Mangala Sutta. You can see verse number 1, verse number 2, verse number 3, verse number 4. This is the place. Mata Pitu Upattana, supporting mother, father, is a Mangala blessing. Supporting a family, taking care of your husband, wife, children is a Mangala blessing. Anakula Chakammanta, unconfused, engaging in unconfused action. So people might put it as peaceful occupation. This Kammanta can be unconfused jobs. Okay, that means, as you can see, confuse actions. So the Buddha asks Buddhist followers to think about that you have to engage in unconfused actions and jobs because it is a Mangal. Now think about the pain of someone who is in a wrong business. The person knows this is an unethical thing. Anytime I will be caught, right? How much pressure, how much confusion is in that particular activity. What if that there is someone who is continuously engaging in akusala activities, always confused? So the Buddha said, in being able to engage in unconfused actions and jobs is a blessing, right? So we understand here, farmer was into a confused activity. He didn't know what would happen to him while doing that. Right? And then 6.1, innocence can still attract suffering. Why is it? What kind of innocence is this? Let's say you are such an innocent person, but you don't know where to engage in activities, how to properly manage, don't know how to protect your borders, your emotional borders, your skillful borders with other people, ethical activities. So if you don't know those things, you might be at risk of getting caught up like this farm into unnecessary confused activities. So you have to always maintain your spiritual ethical borders, parameters. That's important. This thing we understand. Now, the people confused about this action. What happened? So social justice, at that time, we didn't understand that we understand in a different way that the system was not very good. It was not for the Buddha, the man could have died, right? There was no witness, anything. So the system was not that kind of a favorable system for normal humans, right? And then, before we go to the question and answers, memorizing the Dhamma as a lifeline, the power of speech and memory, because the farmer was trying to say what he overheard, and the Buddha as a witness of truth out of his great compassion. Ethical teaching on remorse. This is what the stanza says. Now we come back to this point. The critical lesson learned from this story is encapsulated in this stanza. It's not well done to commit a wrong that later brings a tear-stained face and cry. The farmer did not experience the kind of guilt that the criminal feels, but rather a crisis in his own sense of ethics, sila. So Buddhism teaches to assess actions not only in terms of their immediate karmic results, but by whether they make for peace of mind or else regret later. So farmer did something that was not necessary for him to engage. So finally, karma and its subtle forms. So we do understand karma is not just for the next life. If you engage in confused actions, confused activities, akusala activities, you may go through immediate consequences of those karmas. So once again, what we have to say looking at this stanza is that never engage in any activity that will later on bring tears and sadness into your behavior. So always try to create your ethical boundaries and then kusala akusala boundaries and engage in those required activities so that you will not go through that kind of a sadness like this farm. All right, any questions for today?
Bhante can explain again number 6 of the note. Innocence can still attract suffering. Thank you, Bhante.
Innocence, yeah, that means if you become very vulnerable, if you are not, I would say, if you are wise enough, and you will be going through some problems. Say, for instance, you are not practicing wisdom, then other people think that you are such a very coward person, even if you blame this person, if we say good things, he or she is the same person, we can do anything for this person. So Buddhists are not that kind of coward people. The Buddhists have to be wise, how to manage those situations, right? It's not that you withdraw from the whole society. So the farmer's case is farmer could not prove, farmer could not prove that it was not me who left this purse. So that means he was innocent, but he could not prove his innocence. Luckily, Buddha came there. And Buddha made a story for him, right? That's why just because you are practicing, it is not enough. You also have to be wise. How to engage in those activities, how to, that's why innocence is a good thing, but with innocence, you need some wisdom. Okay, so
Thank you
yes,
so much.
Susan?
Thank you so much, Bhante.
Yes, Susan, please go ahead.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Bhante, how can we gently help a Kalyana Mitta who we can see is declining in their practice? What can we do to help?
It depends on the person and your connection and the person, whether you can talk it out, whether you can, if not, you may go for a different approach. So it all depends on the person and your relationship, because some people might take it differently. Because normally we understand in Buddhism, we have to be suvacho. Suvacho, that means being able to be open to the Kalyana Mittas, but some people might not be. So you may have to see how to approach this person, either through the speech, maybe after a conversation, maybe through another wise activity, maybe, you have to think about it. So that particular custom-tailored method would be the good way to approach. Yes. Maybe sometimes we don't have to say anything. You also know maybe he or she will understand one day. Sometimes just let it be, he or she will understand. But if you think serious things are going to happen, maybe I should say this in a different, proper way. Yes, Melin?
Bhante, from current modern legal perspective and the laws, retaining stolen property is an offense. So I just wondering, I know he didn't steal the purse himself, but he had the intention to retain that stolen property because he knew it was stolen or it was left there. It doesn't belong to him. So is there something behind this story?
You finish.
Like, he's not innocent really, Bhante. Not truly.
Yeah. Well,
what is the...
No, here's the thing. He didn't know what really may have happened. But when the Buddha said, the poisonous snake, he only went there. And then he saw he didn't even know what was inside. Maybe something else. We don't know how much innocent is he. We cannot talk about it. But he was not he was not the thief. Looking at that real thief and what he did, he could be better than them. But what he did was not a good thing, as you said. We are not looking at it from modern law at that time. Other person's thing. So what he did was not a good thing. But compared to the real thief, he's not the thief. But he could have avoided even that part.
Bhante, what was the outcome after the king or the prosecutors heard that the Buddha was mentioned, was he released?
They dismissed the charges against him because they understood the real story. And
Okay.
then the Buddha gave this stanza, never engage in any akusala activity that will create this kind of pain and problems. And he was able to attain Sotapa. So that means his Sotapana was caused by thieves. Interestingly, if the thieves didn't bring this to his place, he would have not gone through any of these things. That's why we need conditions. Yes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes. Okay, we will pick up 2-3 questions from here, and then we will take one question and we will. How can we help? Yeah, I answered already. Bhante, my mom passed on while she was unconscious on oxygen mask given by a doctor. We assumed she had died peacefully. Pain. Now I understand from Bhante that she didn't die. No, we cannot say that. We cannot say she did not pass away because we don't know what was going in her mind. But normally, peaceful death, according to Buddhism, means not that you die in the bed by the morning. Maybe you may die like that, but you were practicing metta, so you are part of that benefit at that point. But simply because someone passes away by the morning in the bed does not say that that person peacefully died. But physically, yes. Physically and modern terms, yes. But Dhamma-wise, has to die with that metta practice. If you say the mother didn't practice metta, so I don't know how to answer that question. I mean, that metta should have been there. And then, according to Suddhavasa Sutta, only Anagamins are reborn before attaining final Nibbana. MN 120 mentioned about meditators can be reborn in Suddhavasa based on their attainments. What type of attainments from meditation? Actually, it's about the certain Anagami status. Some Anagamins are reborn in Pure Lands. Some are reborn in some other, especially those Anagamins are reborn in Suddhavasa. So, but which Suddhavasa is depending upon that person's Anagami status. Because Akanitta is the highest Anagami place. So, in order for Anagami to be reborn there, one must have done, gain, higher jhana status as well. All right. We can take one more question if you have, otherwise we're going to wrap this up at this point. Sharing good karmas.
Hello, Bhante.
Yes,
Hello,
Lisa.
I've got a question. Sorry. It's regards to the session today, and there was like this sutta that accompanies the growth test, the one whereby someone practiced declining, stagnant, or growing. And you mentioned shortly about a sutta that accompanies it, something about the ocean.
Kita.
Give me the link again. Yeah, it went off.
Yes, I will. May I post it in the group?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so I will do it.
Thank you.
All right. So with that, we're going to transfer all the good karmas and share all the good karmas. Devanaga Mahitika. So may all the good karmas we've been making today through this OPRC class be transferred to all the departed relatives who passed away in the name of all of us. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me jnatina hotu sukhita huntu jnatayo. Idam me jnatina hotu sukhita huntu jnatayo. Idam me jnatina hotu sukhita huntu jnatayo. May Deva, Naga, Mahitika receive all these good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of you, your family members, for good health, quality of life, prosperity, and safety. May Deva, Naga, Mahitika finally attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya. Ittavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cha amhihi sambatang punya sampadang. Sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasatta cha bhummatta devanaga mahiddhika. Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu sasanang. Akasatta cha bhummatta devanaga mahiddhika. Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu desanang. Akasatta cha bhummatta devanaga mahiddhika. Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu mang parang. Chirang rakhantu tvam sadati. Dhammavish. Dhammavish is to be surrounded with Kalyana Mittas who can guide us, who can advise us, especially with regard to our decline, stagnation, and growth parts of our Dhamma journey. At the same time, we wish maybe be able to become Kalyana Mittas, as many Kalyana Mittas as we can meet in our life. With this noble intention, we're going to make this wish. Imina punya kammena mami bal samagamu satang samagamu hotu yavanibbana pattiya. Finally, may all the good karmas we've been learning today through this stanza about karma and how seriously we have to look at even a tiny little karma that we might be doing. May all these good karmas be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana siris nicham baddha pachayino chattaro dhamma baddhanti ayuvannu sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti nirvacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati samichatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. With those blessings, we are going to wrap this up and wishing you a pleasant night till we see again Thursday.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you very much,
Bhante.
Bhante. Sadhu,
Thank you,
sadhu, sadhu.
Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu,
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 sadhu.
sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you. Take care, everybody. Good night.
Thank
Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Bhante. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Bhante.
you.
Thank you, Bhante. Good night, everybody.
Night.